What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about Oppo. More importantly, my favourite phone of 2025, the Oppo X9 Pro, might have competition from the Oppo X9. Yes, not a lot of people know the differences, so I'm going to explain them in this video and then question why buy the Pro. Let's go. So yes, this is a fairly serendipitous video because if it wasn't for a customer changing their mind from the regular X9 wanting to switch to the X9 Pro, I would never have received this phone. I personally never really go for the standard version of a phone when there's a Pro variant available. However, I did get this phone. I did use this phone. And then I dug into the specs. And to my eyes, which aren't great, there are only three very, very small differences, but one huge difference. And I want to start with that huge difference. It's the price. The standard X9 Global from Oppo.com is £899. The Pro Global version from Oppo.com is £1,099. That's a £200 difference, or $300 roughly. Whereas on the Average Dad Tech Store, you can buy the Pro variant for £949, a whole £150 cheaper than Oppo, or the regular version for £799. Meaning through the Average Dad Tech Store, the difference isn't quite as big as £200, it's a £150 difference. I mention that A, to plug the store, but B, because there's context behind what I'm saying. When I tell you the other small differences, I want you to remember that huge price difference. We're talking like 20% price difference here, folks. So, the battery. The battery on the X9 Pro is 7,500 milliamp hours. One of the biggest, in fact, the biggest flagship camera phone battery ever created to date. But the X9 has a 7,020 milliamp hour cell. So less than 500 milliamp hours less, with the same 80 watt charging, the same 50 watts wireless charging, the same 10 watts reverse wireless charging. So, is 480 milliamp hours worth £200 to you? Well, let's continue with the differences. The display. Both displays are the exact same PPI, the exact same resolution, but the Pro has a 6.78 inch screen and the regular has a 6.59 inch screen. Yes, less than 0.2 of an inch smaller, but smaller nonetheless. Is 6.6 inches just too small that you can't use it? No. I wasn't aware until I held the phone and used this phone that it was 6.6 inches. I just assumed that the regular X9 was somewhere between 6.1 and 6.3, which is just a bit too small for me. But as you can see these side by side, the difference isn't very big, which does beg the question, why Oppo? Why? However, I must continue with the differences. One of the other small differences is the camera setup. Yes, as I'm talking through the specifications, you can see different examples. The Pro is clearly watermarked with the Pro Hasselblad markings. As you can see, from the ultra-wide all the way to max zoom, I'm not seeing any difference, folks. Maybe in the zoom lens, it's slightly softer on the regular, but the ultra-wide 50 megapixel is the exact same on both phones. The 50 megapixel wide angle is near enough the exact same, with the Pro having a ball hair slightly bigger lens. That you will not notice. Clearly, look at these photos, the wide angle lens is exact same. I love the colours, the post-processing. Hasselblad and Oppo have got a fantastic partnership and these photos look outstanding. Where things get slightly different on paper and in reality is with the 200 megapixel zoom lens. On the Pro, 200 meg. On the regular, 50 megapixel. And the sensor size is slightly bigger, about 25% bigger on the Pro than it is the regular. However, as mentioned, you're really not going to notice much of a difference, because anything over that 20 or 30 times zoom, AI takes over and does its magic. And on both phones looks pretty clear. You could argue that, I'll show this picture again, the picture of the zoomed in Alexa Tiger in my son's room, maybe looks slightly better on the regular than it does the Pro. Maybe. It's very close. But do you know what is different? Other than the price, the biggest change for me and the most confusing decision that Oppo have ever made: the colour. The Pro Chinese version comes in this stunning reddy, burgundy, pinkish colour. The global version doesn't. But the regular X9 Global does come in this quite stupendous colour. I don't know why they didn't release that red colour globally for the Pro, but they didn't. So, to summarise, Oppo have made the best phone of 2025 in my opinion. That can be said for the Pro variant or the regular variant. You just have to decide, is 0.2 of an inch enough for £200 more? Is less than 500 milliamp hours enough to justify nearly £200 more? As mentioned, I would never have made this video before. I would never have bought this phone if it wasn't a return to me. But I'm bloody glad I did, because it's opened my eyes as to how amazing Oppo have been to their fan base this year. Because not only have they given us a flagship Pro, they've given us a flagship standard phone, they've also given us it global. So thank you, Oppo. Again, for me personally, I sell both through the Average Dad Tech store. The Pro variant has sold over 100 units. The regular one has sold like 8. It's crazy to me when you see on paper that there's really no difference. And I think, to be honest, when you go on YouTube and search for standard Oppo X9 reviews, you just don't see that many. And that's a shame. So this is a little shout out, a little promotion, a little push for the standard X9. Now, for full disclosure, again, I don't care which one you buy. I use the X9 Pro as my daily driver. I love the X9 Pro. But if I found myself looking for a different phone because it comes in a different colour, yeah, I may slap my SIM card in that red one. So hopefully that's opened your eyes as to what Oppo have done this year. And who knows, that may have saved some of you a pretty penny. Don't do what I do and just overlook the regular versions from now on. Because, to be honest, Vivo have almost done the same thing with their X300 Global and X300 Pro Global. Specs wise, really not much difference. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash like and hit subscribe. I would love to hit a nice round 80,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And remember, in December, we have 2 phones to give away because I did reach 75,000 and my word is my bond. We also have the raffle draw prize to give away, £1,000 in Average Dad store credit, folks. You can buy tickets through the website. 1 ticket is £5, 3 tickets is £10 and 10 tickets is £20. 10 tickets, 20 quid to win £1,000 phone or £1,000 store credit. Pretty damn good. I'll be back soon with a lot more content on the OnePlus 15, the Honor Magic 8 Pro, the Red Magic 11 Pro, etc, etc. Until next time,